Hi there, and welcome to episode 29 of the Hub of Junior Golf podcast. I'm Ryan Bird, joined as always by the founder of the Junior Golf Hub, Roger Nick. Roger, the holiday season, a great time of year, and an awesome guest coming your way. The women's head coach at the University of Oregon, Derek Radley, will be joining us in moments. A lot to discuss with him. Oregon heading to the Big Ten. I've never got a chance to pick your brain on that, but this conference realignment in the country is incredible with all of these West Coast teams moving to the Big Ten and Big 12. We got Stanford and Cal moving to the Atlantic Coast Conference. That has a nice ring to it, right?
I'm not sure what kind of ring that is, but it's a ring for sure. It's probably a money ring. Let's just talk about that for sure. I think it's very interesting in the landscape right now with how many schools are changing conferences and what's going on, because I know the alignment is trying to make sure the competition is strong at every level. So it's going to be interesting this year for sure.
And with that, we welcome in the head women's coach at the University of Oregon, Derek Radley. Derek, thanks so much for joining us. Your success at Oregon has been quick, and it has been incredible. How's it been for you to move from obviously Arizona as a really successful assistant coach, get your own program, and take it to these incredible national heights?
Yeah. Hey, Ryan. Hey, Roger. Thanks so much for having me. Sorry I was a few minutes late, but excited to be here and connect. Happy holidays to you both. Yeah, just really, really blessed, man, with some great players around me. It's all about the student athletes, I think, and their experience that they have while in college, and hope to prepare them for the next level. And I was fortunate to work under Coach Laura Ianella, who's one of the best at the University of Arizona. And we made a great team, her and I, and made that incredible run in 2018 that, I certainly still think about every day. And that was the goal, was to bring a championship culture here to Oregon. I knew it needed to be a special place, I would say, to get me out of Arizona, because my wife is actually from Tucson. So this was a big move for us to move to Eugene. But it's crazy. This is our sixth season here. And have just been so fortunate with great success and great kids and great families that buy into the culture that we want to have here, and and the hard work that they put in each and every day.
Coach, how did you know you were ready to be a head coach at a big time level? I mean, you can't just dip your toe in it at Oregon. They expect success. How did you know you would be ready?
I don't think you really ever know if you're ready until you're fortunate to have maybe the opportunity to take the leap. I would say I'm going back to Coach Laura. I mean, she let me really kind of hang on her hip with everything that we did. So there really wasn't anything that I didn't have the opportunity to do alongside her when I was at Arizona. When I got to Oregon, it's just, meeting the new people, and obviously departments work differently, and certainly some things that we do. But for the most part, I was really thankful that everything I've kind of come across in the 6 years of a head coach, I felt like I was really prepared. And that's really one of my goals is, with my assistant coaches, is to hopefully give back and let them do that same thing.
Derek, we've known each other for a long time, and it's great to see your success and continue to follow your success at Oregon from Arizona. Now, one of the things that you're known for is kind of being the ninja recruiter. I mean, you've got obviously unbelievable recruiting skills, and you're getting players there. And I see you just signed Yana Wilson, which is amazing. Congrats on that. What do you do? How do you do it? How do you find those players and get them into your fold?
Well, thank you, Raj. Yeah, it's just, to me, it's about relationships, and it's about helping mom and dad and the kid understand that we're going to take care of their daughter. I'm fortunate to have 3 kiddos of my own, Sarah and I now, and I have this new little baby girl she's 2 years old. And I really, kind of try to think about if I were to send Zaylee, her name is Azalea, if I were to send Zaylee halfway across the world or halfway across the country, would I be comfortable in who she was going to play for and spend every day with in pursuit of her hopeful dreams of playing professional golf one day? And so that's really what it comes down to. And I think, I'm so fortunate that I used to have the opportunity to caddy for my wife, Sarah. She was a great player. She played 8 years, was a big breaker. We actually just really cool. Got to spend some time with Golf Channel and kind of recap some things there. But, I've seen great players, especially on the women's side. And I think it just really boils down to relationships, and the trust factors is a big thing.
Go ahead, Raj.
I was just going to say, Derek, so when you're looking for these young players, what are you looking for? Tell the audience here for us is the parents and obviously the athletes, young, student athletes. What are you looking for as a coach in a young, woman coming to your program?
I think it's a lot of things. I would say, we've always called it the it factor. Do they walk around with some swag? Do they have confidence in themselves? One of my favorite things to do is to kind of hang around in the parking lots and see how they treat mom and dad before and after. I've actually had that conversation with some other coaches before. I think it goes a lot further than just the scores that they shoot. Obviously, I'd love to see them have success on a great scale. If they've shot really low scores before, I feel like hopefully I can help bring that out in them more so when they get to college. But, to me, the number one thing is about being a good person. And so we have a great culture here. Golf is an individual sport. We never pass the ball to each other, but we have to be a team. And I think you see the teams that have success late in the season are the ones that truly are a team, and they really care for each other. And so that's something that when you get to Oregon, I think they've probably already heard me say that in the recruiting process. And I've tried to, sift through, is that true? Do you deeply care about others? Does your mom and dad care about not only your success, but the other's success? And if that's the case, then I know that they'll be a great fit. So all the kids that we've brought here, thankfully that have taken the chance and wanted the opportunity to come here, have that. And, from a golfing standpoint, it's crazy, man. These kids are unbelievable. I mean, they look like little tour players already, how far they hit it and the instruction that they get. Obviously length on the women's side is a big deal. If you can hit it far, that's probably helpful. You don't have to. But I that's probably going to give you a potential opportunity to make a few more birdies. But I would say that the biggest thing is our culture and being a good teammate.
Coach, the Hub of Junior Golf podcast, it's the number one podcast for junior golf families. We try to give them a roadmap, educate them on the process of going from junior golf to the next level The question I get the most, thousands and thousands of times a year, is how do I get found and noticed? So your answer was great. I loved your answer. Finding great people that can play great golf, that have low scores, that hit it a long way. I mean, that obviously is what every coach wants. The initial list, if it's even a list, how do you start compiling, and at what age are you starting to even make little notes or mental notes on players that you want to continue to at least see what happens next, or as you said, get a look at from the parking lot or with the parents, or see what the grades are? I mean, there's so much that goes into it, but it has to start somewhere, Coach. Where does it start with you?
It's changed a lot, right? I think this recruiting June 15th deadline has pushed things back. I remember back in the days, this is my 12th year coaching now, women's college golf. And I remember, we would give unofficial visits, it felt like every weekend. And now we really don't do unofficial visits anymore. It's usually official visits, and it's the ones that, we're specifically targeting, I would say, starting on June 15th. Making that list, I would say, starts, 8th grade, freshman year. social media obviously has become a big factor in the recruiting process.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I can see, are they at the course? Are they practicing? Do they love golf? What are they posting? What tournaments do they have coming up? And a lot of times, back in the day, you used to say, hey, please send me your tournament schedule so I can see where you're playing and follow along. Now I just follow them on Instagram and I know every tournament they're playing in, right? And so, I think social media has become a big deal, and I think it can be used in the right way. I love when kids have like a golf specific one, because I know that's going to be about golf. And, we tell kiddos all the time, like, be cognizant of what you're posting on there because coaches are watching you, because that's a big part of the recruiting process now. I could say, when kids are reaching out, we get a lot of emails each and every day introducing themselves, which are great. And we go through those and try to keep up with them as much as we can. We're all really busy, and I hope I can get to everybody that emails me, but I can tell you the handful of kids that have wrote me direct messages on Twitter or on Instagram, because it's different. And if you can find a way to potentially stand out during this recruiting process, I think is key.
Wow.
Yeah. Derek, is that one of those ways? Is that maybe a handwritten note? Do you get a lot of those by chance?
Handwritten notes mean a lot, man. Yeah. I don't know if, you don't see them a whole lot anymore. But yeah, if somebody actually gets a letter to me in my inbox here at the University of Oregon, I certainly remember that as well, Raj.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't have any cobwebs in that mailbox, though. I'm sure it's full.
I go down there every day.
So as you start to, and as you said, you are getting, I don't know if kids realize how many emails, especially a big time college coach is getting in the game of golf, because it's been drilled into everyone that, before June 15th, you better email the coach, get on their radar, et cetera. So as all that's coming in, how do you take that next step? Because, not everyone is Yana that the whole world knows about and has won major events. I mean, she's a big part and a great recruit, but I'm sure you have players on your team that are awesome that didn't have a ton of fanfare that you found that maybe others weren't even aware of. How do you do that process?
I lean on I have to get in. I love going and watching them in person, to be honest with you, Ryan. So, when it comes to be June 15th, I think, the kids might panic a little bit, especially mom and dad, like, oh my gosh, we got to find a place. If you're a talented golfer and you're, I always kind of look at what's your ceiling, okay, you're here now, but where do you think we could help get you? And, sending out a schedule before June 15th, even if it's after June 15th, it's okay, because we have scholarships moving around all the time now, especially with the transfer portal. Things open up, and every coach, I can promise you, is looking for that diamond in the rough, because they're out there. And I think COVID was a big setback of ranking, to be honest with you. I think it skewed a lot of things on world amateur golf rankings, because you're seeing some of these kiddos come out now that are great that might not have had that opportunity to play during COVID because they were just restricted, depending on where they lived or what country they were from, or where they were in the U.S. So, I think having us kind of get eyes on them, that's always been one of my strong suits, I feel like, because I was a golf instructor for a long time. Then I caddied for my wife on the LPGA Tour, so I could really get in there and say, okay, this kid's got it, and she's got a long career ahead of her, and we can hopefully help her achieve her goals. But I would say don't hit the panic button. Just keep doing what you're doing, playing as many events as you can. If you have an off day, it's okay. Like, if somebody shoots 78 or 80, it's okay. But if they shoot 67, 68, 69, like, I'm paying attention. I know that they did that. And, okay, they've done it before, then I feel like, we're going to help pull that out when they get to college more often.
Derek, you mentioned something just now when you go see or watch a player, that you're obviously trying to look at the bigger picture. One of the things that we talk a lot about here at the Junior Golf Hub is helping parents understand the skill sets that their players need to move on to that next level. When you're watching a young prospect, what do you look at are you looking at golf skills? Are you looking at just a score? Are you obviously you're looking at mental, how they rebound from tough situations, that kind of thing. When do you really focus on score as a recruit, or when do you focus on, I'm looking at the skills that they have as a potential of how do they, that ceiling is way away from now, right?
Yeah, that's a great question, Roger. And I think every college coach is probably a little bit different. I love getting to know their golf instructor is a big piece of what I do, because I did that for so long. And so, what technique are they working on? Are they playing golf swing? Are they playing golf? Can they just get it in the hole? It doesn't have to always be perfect, but are you mature enough to stay level-headed emotionally and get the most out of your round? And I think, oftentimes that's a big learning process, even for my players when they get here and kind of fast forwarding a little bit, and then I can go back. But, when you come to college, I know there's our players, especially, we've had this conversation numerous times, they're not playing just for themselves anymore. They're playing for their teammates and they're playing for Oregon. So that brings on even more pressure for them. So, how are you going to handle that when you get to that moment? But no, I think technique is a big one. Course management, if it's off a little bit, it's okay, because I know that's an area that I could really dive in and help them. Short game is a big one. How many tools do you have in your bag? Can you hit it high? Can you hit it low? Can you spin it? Is your putting speed? Do you feel comfortable on playing in Florida versus playing in California on different types of grasses? So obviously that comes with experience, right? So the more experience that the recruit can have and play, that's great. But also just look at the intangibles. Like, do they have what it takes to be a champion? And sometimes it's hard to explain. Do they have the it factor, we say? And everybody's it factor might be different. Like, I remember I coached a player at Arizona. Her name was Lindsay Weaver, and Lindsay has had a lot of success in the LPGA Tour. She just had her first kiddo, but Lindsay hit it about 220 off the tee. It curved about 20 yards right to left. But man, when she walks down the fairway, she would part the Red Sea. Yeah. I mean, she is tough, and that's her it factor. Right. Whereas you look at some other great players, I don't know, like a Nelly Cora. I mean, she's just so God gifted in her talent to strike the ball that she's going to go on and just have success because she just flushes it all the time. So everybody can, I guess, kind of have that it factor in what they excel at and what would help get them to the next factor, and or to the next level. And that's a fun thing for me, I think, is trying to figure out what that is. And then when they do come to college, how can we really help magnify that for their success?
Coach, ironically, I had a really difficult phone call last night from a parent that said he was only interested in going to the highest bidder, NIL, and this is a golf parent of a 10th grader. And what was my advice to go get the most money? And I had absolutely no idea how to answer that question. I offered my view that would be the opposite of how to choose a school for your kid to play at. How often or how big is this NIL thing? I mean, certainly Oregon is in a really good position in NIL, but is this really, give me a 25,000-foot view, is this becoming a problem or a good thing in collegiate athletics?
I think it's a good thing if used the right way. I think the thing that we're all trying to help our student athletes get to is, can international students have this opportunity to get it as well? Because, if they accept any sort of NIL opportunities right now, it changes their visa status, and that changes their student, they can't potentially accept that. So from a level playing field, and golf has become such an international game that I would love to see international students be able to take this opportunity as well. I think it is a great thing from the fact that it might entice the student athlete to stay in college longer, pursuing their degree, and have a backup plan, because they can save some extra cash on the side. So, in golf, it's not a guarantee. You don't make anything until you go and make a cut. So it can be challenging in our world. So in college, if they can make some extra cash to market their image, then I think it's great. And I think we're certainly not even close to the scale as football. And I'm thankful for some of these agents that have actually come in and taken it and run with it, because as coaches, we're not allowed to really have any part in it. Right. And so, I've been asked that question just like you have, Ryan, numerous times. To be honest with you, it kind of turns me off a little bit. It's like, yeah, I want a kid that wants to come here for the right reasons, and I want a kid that wants to feel like they can trust me as a coach and as a leader. And they're going back to the relationship piece that we talked about it. So if that NIL opportunity comes later after they get to college, that's great. Right. And whereas, I think you see somebody like a Rose Zhang that had maximized her opportunities for 2 years at Stanford. She had an agent that went out and helped get her, opportunities, which was great. But I think, Rose's main goal was always to be the best golfer and best person that she could be. And I think if you keep that at the forefront, the NIL opportunities and all the other opportunities will come.
Last question, Raj.
Yeah, last question. Derek, you mentioned a little bit about the portal, but how important is the transfer portal for a program like Oregon's and yourself?
Yeah, I think it's it's very important. I might not be a great fit for a kid, or University of Oregon might not be a great fit, or some of the other schools might not be a great fit. So I think it gives them the opportunity to get the most out of their college experience. I can tell you, I'm looking at the portal every day. We have our logins and we're checking it. The window just closed, about 5 days ago for this winter window. But it's real. And I think as coaches, we always have our eyes open to it. I will say, I think it hurt, the younger generation a little bit, right? Because I think there were some difficult decisions to be made with coaches of, would they rather have a kid off the portal or potential, 17 or 18-year-old coming in. So, I know there were some challenges there via COVID, but it's real. And, I think we've thankfully benefited from it, but I know some other programs have also been hurt from it. So, I see both sides. It is what it is right now. I don't know if there'll be restrictions on it or it'll change in the future. But, I think they just changed the rule now where you can transfer multiple times. Mm-hmm. So think about that. I mean, you can play for 4 different schools in 4 years, right? Wow. So it's crazy. But at the end of the day, I do this to try to provide a first-class experience for our student athletes and to make college fun and to provide them all of the resources to succeed, not only on the golf course, but in life. And, if they go into the portal looking for that and we're a great fit for that, then great. If not, they can go find that other places. That's great as well. So it is what it is. And I think, we're at the end of the day, we're just trying to raise the best kids that we can and help, mom and dad and get them the student athlete to where they want to be.
Well, Coach, I think everyone listening will instantly know why you've been so successful at Oregon. Extremely impressive today. I'd play for you. I'll tell you that. I mean, it was you're inspiring, and I'm not surprised. So continued success. Bring that natty to Oregon, and we really appreciate your time.
I appreciate you, Roger. Thanks so much. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays.
Go Ducks.
Yeah, go Ducks. Thanks, Derek.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Ryan, there you have it.
Well, Roger, that was, I certainly, Michael, our director producer, needs to put a highlight on that one. I'm not sure kids and parents will have in any of the podcasts, we've had unbelievable guests. We've been so fortunate here in our 29th episode. I mean, I implore you to go watch all 29, not because you'll learn something, but he really let you behind the curtain on how he does things. That was fantastic.
Yeah, it really was. And Derek's always a special guy. And, you hear from some of the girls that play for him, how much he cares for them. So really, really special program there he's building and has built, is going to continue to build, I think, for years to come. So to your point, a lot of fun. Probably sounds like an inspiring guy to play for sure.
Yeah. And certainly most of this episode, Roger, surrounded around recruiting. Once again, there is really only one place to go, especially as you're just getting started in this process of junior golf. To even start, I know it seems so overwhelming for our audience, Roger, but what is the best way for someone that hasn't done anything yet to get the ball rolling and get started with the Junior Golf Hub?
Yeah, no doubt about it, Ryan. And go to the juniorgolfhub.com, sign in, log in, claim your profile, set up your tournament schedule, reach out to a coach like Derek at Oregon. You can follow their program, let him follow you back. I mean, that's the best way to be, recognized. It's we've now had at the Junior Golf Hub, well over 2,000 athletes in the last 5 years go on to have success at the next level, being found there and creating relationships. As Derek said, that relationship means a lot to a coach. So go there, start your profile, get it filled out, get it to where coach can follow you to Birdie Your Better platform. So it really helps out a lot.
Awesome. Definitely encourage everyone to do that. Want to wish everyone certainly happy holidays, Merry Christmas, certainly to you and yours, Roger. This has been a good Christmas gift here. This will be actually posting just before Christmas, and obviously you can watch all 29 episodes of the Hub of Junior Golf podcast, but certainly this was a good one. So happy holidays. Certainly a special thanks to Derek, Radley, and a special thanks to you, Roger Nick. So on behalf of Roger, our director and producer, Michael Nick, I am Ryan Burr saying happy holidays, and we'll see you next time on the Hub of Junior Golf podcast.